hear you were having fun with Kai.
It was very fun.
No surprise.
The booth was really fun, doing tattoos.
I see you got one or two.
Yeah, I needed to practice a lot. I definitely ruined multiple.
Did Kai practice on you?
No, I didn't see the booth.
Oh, okay.
I don't know when I first heard about Stonewall, but I think I always kind of heard about it in conjunction with Pride. Pride isn't just about parade that I grew up going to as a younger person. Pride was actually about a riot against the police.
So it was almost 50 years ago. And it's amazing how the LGBT community started fighting back against oppression and transphobia.
Because of my privilege today, it's my job to educate myself on the things that they did to make this possible. You owe it to them to do that. And it's part of what you have to do as a queer person today.
My best friend called me and told me, I found a gay bar and they allow you to dance with men. That was the Stonewall.
Stonewall was, you know, it was always dark in there. You had to feel your way around sometimes.
The interior of the bar was horrific. I mean, they didn't have running water. So no one ordered, if you knew, no one ordered a drink in a glass. But it was ours. I mean, so who cared what it looked like?
And it was always crowded, you know, always crowded. Like you'd see queer people outside, but walking into the bars and seeing so many of us, you know, it was like, yeah, you know, like it was home.
All places that were frequented by gay people were much more diverse. There weren't many bars and we were all under siege.
My first lover and I, we had just come back in from Washington. We were passing forged checks and whatnot, but we were making good money. I said, well, let's go to Stonewall. The police came in, they came in to get the payoff as usual. This is what we learned to live with at that time. I don't know if it was the customers or it was the police. It just, everything clicked.
The word started coming down into the park that there was this altercation over near Stonewall. When we got up here, it was like hundreds of people already. There was trans women, there were lesbians, there were femmes, there were drag queens, there was white, there was black, there was Asian. Everybody was out here. It was a liberation. You know, we felt empowered, like, you know, this is who we are, we're not going anywhere.
And it just took a momentum of its own. There was no leaders, nothing was planned, but everything went amazingly in our favor.
Disturbances around the Stonewall lasted for about 3 or 4 days. I wish I could say that I had a crystal ball and I thought this was going to be the beginning of social change, but I didn't see much happening. What made the Stonewall uprising really different was that 2 weeks later, the Gay Liberation Front sent out a notice that they were organizing. We don't care if straight people accept us. We're going to be who we are, and if you don't like who we are, just get out of our way. We came up with the idea of a Pride March. We called it the Christopher Street Liberation Day March. We envisioned that people would march out of the village to the daylight of Central Park, where we would have a big party, we would have political speeches, and we would be free.
What began as a question mark downtown ended in an exclamation point. The march made us public, and we all knew it was different now, and we were going to live differently. We started to become a people.
Whether you came in today to come out, whether you came in last night to come out, whether you came in last week to come out,
Dip-de-doo, dip-de-doo, oh dip-de-doo. Dip-de-doo, dip-de-doo, oh dip-de-doo.
Good morning. Welcome to Pride Sunday at Crossroads. I love all the beautiful colors out there. I want to mention real quick, after that great video, that Abby Pratt is the one who put our service together today, and she got called out to work for Midwest Transplant Network. So she's at the hospital working, but if you get a chance during the week or whatever, send her a note of thanks, because she did a lovely job putting together the service, and you'll hear a prayer as well later that she wrote. Has anybody been out to the Pride Festival this weekend? I know some of our folks have been out working the booth, walking through the vent, in the parade. It's been hot, right? But it's been beautiful. So if you haven't had a chance to go out today. It's always a lovely event. And I have to say, in the climate of our country, being around thousands of people that are just sharing love gives you so much hope. It really does. If you would, as always, friends, take that friendship booklet in the center aisle and sign it and pass it down to your neighbor and let us know that you're here. And I just hope that as we worship today, you will just feel the joy and the love that comes with Pride Month, and be thankful for the great work that so many did at Stonewall and throughout the last, I think we figured out, almost 55 years to bring about more freedom in our country for the queer community. Our sermon today is going to kind of focus on how we are all made in God's image. So I hope you hear that in the music and in the readings, and you think about that for yourself. How we are a beautiful reflection of the diverse nature of God.
Welcome. Good morning, everybody. I have to say, when I received the worship order and the music for today, I listened to it all, I was so excited for this service. I can't wait to worship with you, and I just want to invite you to worship freely. If that means standing up, raising your arms, if that means staying seated, if that means doing a tap dance or clapping your hands, whatever the Spirit leads you to. We welcome you to lean into that.
Barefoot? Barefoot's okay?
What?
Barefoot's okay?
Yeah, barefoot's okay. Barefoot, in the aisles, you know, whatever you want to do. Also, feel free if there's other words that you feel more led to sing, you are always welcome to do that here as well. So, you are welcome here.
Song for you now. Written by a friend of Abby's, John Calloway.
I believe in
All right, kids. You have kids? Yeah, kiddos. Come on, kiddos. Come on up here.
Greg and Luke is walking in right now.
Yay.
Walk slowly in front. Here he goes. Nice.
We're going to read today, maybe. Okay. So, I sing with a chorus. Did you know that? I sing with a group of guys. It's about 140 of us. And not too long ago, there was a really cool musical that Kai got to go to see called My Shadow is Pink. You remember that? Yeah? Did you like it? Tell us all about it. Okay, so that was based on a book called My Shadow is Pink. Whew. And we just so happened to have it. Yeah. So, this is the story of My Shadow is Pink. You are loved exactly as you are. My dad has a shadow that's blue as can be, and there's nothing but blue in my whole family tree. But mine is quite different. It's not what you think, for mine is not blue. My shadow is pink. My shadow loves ponies and books and pink toys, princesses, fairies, and things not for boys. But there's one thing it likes most that I have found. It loves wearing dresses and dancing around. It spins and it sparkles and it twirls through the air, then stops as my dad walks in with a stare. It will turn blue one of these days. Don't you worry, he says. It is just a phase. Dad's shadow is blue. It is big. It is strong. But when I stand with it, I just feel so wrong. I wish mine was blue like all of the others. I wish mine was blue like my dad's and my brother's. I'd be part of the group. Of that, there's no doubt, but I cannot fit in when my shadow stands out. You ever feel that way? Yeah. Now, things are all changing, and that is not cool. I'm ready to start my first day at school. You'll need pencils and books, and lunch you must bring. Dress up with your shadow and its favorite thing. My heart skips a beat as I put on a dress, and I look at my dad who's anxious and stressed. He takes me to class, and I turn to say bye. His face is all worried. There's fear in his eyes. So I step in the doorway and puff out my chest. One thing is clear, I'm not like the rest. I try to say hi, but my voice is too quiet. The kids turn around, and the room, it goes silent. I run out the door, and I push past my dad. I run to my house feeling angry and sad. If my shadow was blue, I'd be there making friends. I'd be laughing and playing and drawing with pens. I rip off my dress, throw it down to the floor. I won't wear it again. Not ever. No more. Just then, at my door came a soft little knock. It's my dad walking in, and I look up in shock. Both he and his shadow in dresses they stood, with shimmering seams and pink sparkling hoods. He speaks in a voice that's quite soft but is stern. Pick up that dress. You must listen and learn. I see now it's true. It's not just a shadow. It's your innermost you. He showed me the photos of parents and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and others. We've all had a shadow that's hidden from eyes. Sometimes our shadow, it lives in disguise. His shadow loves painting and fashion and art. Her shadow loves engines and powerful cars. His shadow loves dance with its turns and its twirls. Her shadow, she hides it. Her shadow likes girls. His shadow loves theater and acting and plays. Her shadow loves science and planets and space. Your shadow is you, and pink it will be. So stand up with your shadow and yell, "This is me." And some, they will love you, and some they will not. But those that do love you, they'll love you a lot. So put on that dress and get back to school. If someone won't like you, then they are the fool. My heart nearly burst, and my shadow, it soared. I picked up the dress and wore it once more. We ran out the door, this time holding hands. My dad and our shadows, together we stand. I stride in my class and I puff out my chest. I may be different, but different is best. I join a small group, though in I don't blend. They took up a smile. Will you be our friend? There's one more page, I know there is. That was the end. What do you think of that? What does that tell you?
You don't have to be the same.
Exactly, and it's okay. And it's okay for girls to wear blue and green, and it's okay for boys to wear pink and yellow, because those are just colors. Those are not people, right? So you be you, and you always be the best you that you can be. And as long as you're doing that, then it doesn't really matter what other people think about it. Deal? 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 God, thank you for making all of us different. It'd be so boring if we were all just the same person. So help us to see and embrace and love those differences and look for the differences around us, and help us to show those people that we see as different that they're loved still, just like you love us. And God's people said, "Gay men." Did I just say gay men?
I say amen, so there you go.
I'd like to introduce Madeline Gingelbach, who's going to share with us a little bit about her story.
Okay, so when Stephanie asked me to talk, I didn't really know at first what I was going to say, because the framing was this idea of being a beloved child of God, you know, queerfully awesome or whatever. And when I was a kid, I did not come from a very religious family. I had just enough religion here and there around the edges that I believed in God, and I thought God loved me, but it was a distant concept, but kind of a warm, neutral concept. So it really wasn't God that I was thinking about when in college I realized that in addition to guys, I liked girls too. I wasn't thinking about God. I wasn't thinking about God sending me to hell. I wasn't thinking about God damning me. I was thinking about the hell that might happen on earth when I played basketball in college, when I was in a relationship with a girl, and if the wrong teammate found out how my life could be hell. And it was, because it did happen. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it was awful. It was the one time in my life, even in my advancing years, that I ever seriously considered killing myself. Just once, but that was enough. And luckily, I didn't. And I'm here to talk with you. But it was many years later when some of these people I met at a different church, probably 30-something years ago. And that is where I actually did start to think of God as less of a distant, kind of friendly dude, and kind of more of something that I would have a relationship with. And what a gift it was for me that I began to be in a family of people who believe similarly and who see me just as worthy and lovable as anyone. And that was a real gift, and it was something that I did not expect, out of childhood or whatever. So my journey to seeing and knowing deeply that God loves me was not a particularly hard journey from a God thing. But I do want to acknowledge that I believe I'm an edge case. I'm on the tail end of the distribution curve here. There are a lot of other people who do not have that privilege and who did not have that experience, like my friend. He's gay. His younger sister, he grew up very, very Catholic. His younger sister was in a relationship with another woman, and she had come from a very conservative Protestant background. The only reason I'm describing this is that they had this tragic cycle. They lived together and had been living together for years and would spend some months in active relationship with one another as a couple, and then be so guilty that they would continue to live together and forsake themselves as a relationship until they couldn't stand it anymore, and then they would be in relationship, and this cycle that I described to you continued. I hope I haven't seen them in decades. I hope that they're happy today together. I also think of a friend who grew up not far away from where I did in Texas. Many years ago, I volunteered for a human rights campaign, and we were, doing something. And this guy started singing absent-mindedly, and I was like, wow, man, he can sing. I was just blown away. I'd never heard him sing before, and I'm like, dude, wow, you have such a gorgeous voice. I'm so surprised. And wow, I wish I could hear you sing more. And he said, I'm kind of surprised that I'm singing. When I grew up, my family and I attended church, and it was just a huge part of our life. And I sang in the choir, and I would sing solos, and I just loved it. I loved singing. And then they found out I was gay, and they threw me out. All of it. And he said, I don't really sing very much anymore because it's kind of painful. And that story is unique to him, but that theme is not unique. And the gift that we're giving at this church and providing sanctuary to people and accepting people where they are is really important, because the world outside is not like that. And the risks, the dangers are real and true. And the possibility for love and acceptance and joy is just as true as well. Thanks.
Loretta and I are going to read a litany to honor our LGBTQ plus heroes. This was written by Abby Pratt. Diverse and beautiful, blessed and beloved, let us pause to honor those activists, caregivers, musicians, physicians, politicians, writers, Rosies, and students whose lives enrich our communities and whose courage is creating a more inclusive and loving world.
We honor the courage of Walt Whitman, Alice Dunbar Nelson, James Baldwin, and many other writers who put pen to paper, creating messages of hope, connection, and belonging.
We honor the courage of Henry Gerber, who, inspired by Magnus Hirschfeld, fought for the rights of gay people and founded the first gay rights organization in the US.
We honor the courage of the Women's Army Corps in World War II and those lesbian Rosies who served our country valiantly while also risking it all to be fully themselves.
We honor the charisma and courage of Bayard Rustin, faithful teacher of nonviolence and of the 1963 March on Washington. Let us refuse for Rustin's story to continue to be pushed aside or overlooked because he was gay.
We honor the courage of drag queens Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, who pushed back when officers tried to mistreat them at the Stonewall Inn in New York City, starting a riot which sparked nationwide change.
We honor the courage of Harvey Milk, and Pete Buttigieg, who have sought and are seeking political reform and do so as proud gay men. We recall Milk's bold belief that gay rights can never be won from the closet.
We remember those who lost their lives to AIDS and mourn those who died alone and shunned by their families, friends, and communities. We honor the courage of Frances Ruth Coker Burks, who embraced the dying, offering care in their last days, and then burying their bodies with dignity and grace.
We honor the courage of Freddie Mercury, Elton John, Lady Gaga, Billie Holiday, etc., and many other musicians who have used their voices, fame, and musical talents to sing their stories and challenge the world to be more loving and accepting.
We honor the courage of college student Matthew Shepard, a gay man who was beaten and killed simply because of who he loved. In his memory, let us join his parents, Judy and Dennis, in fighting to erase hate.
We honor the courage of Drew Schaefer, who in the 1960s advocated for gay rights in Kansas City, founding both the Phoenix Magazine and Phoenix House. We also honor the courage of Drew's mother, Phyllis, who was instrumental in Drew's life work, fiercely supporting him and just about anyone who was being discriminated against.
We honor the courage of Leah Hopkins, a bold Black lesbian who, in 1977, spearheaded the first Pride Parade in Kansas City. We celebrate that Leah Hopkins is still creating opportunities for belonging and was the Grand Marshal of the Pride Parade in 2022.
We honor the courage of all who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, intersex, asexual, advocates, and allies. Together, we make our community vibrant, brave, and whole.
We recognize that this litany only names a few of our heroes. We invite you now to share by finishing the sentence, "We honor the courage of,"
and speak up as you share a name. for those names spoken and unspoken, diverse and beautiful,
blessed and beloved.
we honor your courage. Please maybe stand for this.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
And we're going to go into a greeting time now. And we're going to do this a little differently today. I invite you to choose 3 people as you greet and affirm their being here in worship today. Hugging, shaking hands, however. Go and greet.
Me and my cousin who went to Texas. Yep. And I'll be back home next week for Father's Day. The one weekend we don't see each other is very important. Yeah. We love each other, but we know our boundaries. Oh, like I know when I go home for holidays, I can stay at her house for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, we knew you'd all pick more than 3.
There was one time, a couple years ago, I went probably Christmas, and I was in my car to go home, and they texted me, and I
Hi, guys.
We
time for our offering. Those who are going to receive the offering, come forward, please. Open our hearts, Lord. Wider and wider and wider. Open our ears, Lord. Open our hearts and our minds to receive your love and to share your love. Thank you for the variety of your creation. We know that without every single person in this room, your creation would not be complete. We know that people who have to hide who they are cannot bring all of what you have created, all that you have to give to the world. So we thank you for empowering those folks with the courage to be who they are. We thank you for your gifts, and we freely give in return of our time and our talents and our treasure to your love in the world, to be your love in the world. Amen.
God of the movements and waters, God of the powerless child,
Reading from Psalm 139. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from far away. You search out my path and my lying down and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, O Lord, you know it completely. You hem me in, behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is so high that I cannot attain it.
For it was you who formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works that I know very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth.
And from the first chapter of Genesis. Then God said, let us make humans in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth.
I feel like I'm gonna get the blowing hair effect over here. You know, they do that in the movies and stuff, and the models. I've never had that. Whew. So how many of you remember or were here years ago when we hosted Black Pride Sunday? Remember that? Gerald organized us to host them, and I remember the community wanted to use our building at 7 a.m. and we said, no, just come do it at 10:30 and we'll just worship with you. It was a lovely Sunday. So that morning, Reverend Dion made a statement. She said it several times. Sorry, I'm using a different microphone piece today that I prefer, but we're still getting it adjusted. So, that better, Terry? Okay. So Reverend Dion said something that morning several times that has stuck with me ever since then. She said, God did not create you to hate you. God did not create you to hate you. That's really powerful, right? Churches and Christians many times have said things like, God does not approve of you being gay or of your lifestyle, right? As if it's a lifestyle. Or they've said, God maybe even doesn't love you or love that part of you. But if God created you, didn't God create you queer? Their logic just doesn't add up, does it? Oh, it's the fan. Madeline thinks it's the fan. But if I move it, I won't have the amazing hair effect. I'll probably be fine without it. Genesis 1:26 says, let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness. So not only did God create us, but God made us in God's image. You, me, the person beside you. Every single one of us. Straight, gay, bisexual, lesbian, intersex, asexual, transgender. Every single one of us, right? And each one of us is a reflection of God, of God's goodness, of God's beauty, of God's uniqueness, God's compassion, God's peacefulness, God's grace, and God's diversity. You are beautifully and uniquely created by God. As the psalmist says in 139, God formed our inward parts. God knit us together in our mother's womb. We are fearfully and beautifully made. God has this intimate knowledge of us. God knows our thoughts. God knows our path. God hems us in and lays hands on us. There's another passage that says God knows every single hair on our head. And for those of you without hair, God knows every hair on your arm or leg. God knows you. That's for you, Trevor. Or in your mustache. God knows you in and out. God is intimately invested in your life. From the very point of our creation, our beginning, God is invested in who we are. From that very first moment when God begins to form us in God's beautifully diverse and queer image. Now that might be a new one for some of you. God's queer image. Rachel Mann, who is a theologian and an author and a priest in the Church of England, says in this article she wrote, "I cannot begin to imagine anything queerer than the doctrine of the Trinity." Queer by definition is what? Strange, odd, doesn't conform to norms. Let's think about the Trinity, which is like core, right, to the doctrine of Christianity. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, or however you want to say it, right? Creator, sustainer, redeemer. Or creator, redeemer, sustainer. 3 in 1. Both 3 and both 1. It's like more math that doesn't work, like I talked about the other week. How do you make sense of that? Let me tell you, you can take lots of religion and theology classes on this. You still won't make sense of it. You can study all the different theories out there about how this is 3 in 1. Is it 3 different modes? Is it 3 different characters? What is it? It will still not make sense because it is strange. It is queer. Queering God may feel strange in itself, right? But it can also be freeing. 3 in 1. Not some old man in the sky with a big beard sitting on a fluffy cloud. Not male or female. Not confined by gender restraints. In fact, think about the passage that we heard from Genesis. Let us. The plural is often used for God. Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness. The very language that is used is plural. And so calling God they is actually quite fitting. We want to confine God by our limited understanding of life, by our established ideas of gender and sexuality, but we can never capture God. God is bigger than all of that, more expansive, more diverse, and yes, more queer. And looking around at all of you, you who are each made in God's image and yet are so beautifully diverse, just confirms that. No single one of us can encompass the whole of God's image, right? And no group of us, although we sometimes think this is possible, no group of us can encompass the whole of God's image either, right? It takes all of us throughout history, and we still would not encompass the whole. We get closer though, right? When every single one of us, queer, straight, black, white, male, female, non-binary, citizen, immigrant, young, old, older, we get closer to reflecting the diversely queer image of God. God did not mess up when creating us, but the church messed up when it failed to see so and presumed to think that it could ever confine the awesomeness of God. I was in a few different churches growing up in our little tiny town, but my high school years I spent at First Baptist Church of Marengo, Illinois, a small American Baptist church, about 70 people. It was about 3 blocks from my house, and we would walk there on Sundays, even in the snow. We didn't have to go uphill and downhill, though. It's just a straight path. But we would walk there even in the snow, which was treacherous up there back then. There was this beautifully, beautiful blue Victorian home next door to the church. That was where the town's gay couple lived. I'm sure there were other queer people in my town, but those were the only ones anyone apparently knew of. Remember, it was a really small farm town. 2 gentlemen lived there, and their house was the prettiest on the street. Their yard was the most gorgeous, of course. I don't know what their names were. I don't think anybody in my church knew what their names were. I can say that in my time there, I never heard anyone preach or speak against them. No one ever purposely excluded them to my memory, but no one practiced inclusion either. The church messed up. We messed up. And you know what? We missed out. We missed out on knowing those 2 beautiful men that reflected God's image and lived right next door to us. Abby asked a question online the other week of some of you for who are your heroes? Who are your queer heroes? And that's why you saw names up there in the cloud on the screen, and then heard names in the litany, people that are your heroes. You might have seen your own name up there. I didn't give any names that day when she asked for that. I just sat back and I thought about it. And here's what I realized. Those of you in our congregation who are queer, you are my heroes. Because when the church said you don't belong here, when the church said God doesn't love who you are, when the church said you can't lead in worship or teach Sunday school, you can't sit in the pew, we won't marry you. When the church said those things, you did not give up on God. When the church said you are not in God's image, you found your way to believing that you are. You continued to have faith in God and trust and know that God is bigger than what any one church says. And so you are my heroes, each of you. Not because you just show up here and make our place a more beautiful, loving environment, but because you do that out in your lives. You are a walking example of Jesus' love every day, and a testament to the queerly diverse nature of God. You live that out, and you help us reimagine just how beautifully queer the church can be. So thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. As the band comes up, we're going to stand and sing the song that you learned earlier by a good friend of Abby's, a friend of mine, John Calloway. I invite you to stand as you are able in mind, body, and spirit, and to sing together.
stone. Touch your hand and open your eyes. It's in the whispers you find new life. And I don't have it all figured out, and I never will. There's got to be some room for doubt, and still I believe that love wins. I believe in starting again. We're not alone in the middle of the night. In the darkest hour, there's always a light. Maybe the kingdom's already come. These apples set and we're the ones. People are good no matter where they live. Sometimes we have to be reminded of it. I don't have it all figured out, and I never will. There has got to be some room for doubt. Still, I believe that love wins. I believe in starting again. We're not alone in the middle of the night. In the darkest hour, there's always a light. I believe that love wins. I believe in starting again. We're not alone in the middle of the night. In the darkest hour, there's always a light.
I've got just two quick announcements for you, but as I offer you those, I invite you to scooch together towards the center and to join hands across the aisles. Two quick announcements. One is that out in the lobby are t-shirt forms for Colorado Camp. If you want to order a new t-shirt, there's adult sizes and youth. You can fill those out. You don't have to be going to camp to get a shirt. They're great Crossroads shirts. Also, as you exit on one of the, I don't know what, it's not an arm railing. The outside stoneway are a lot of, the stone wall. There are a lot of window decals that we had left over from yesterday that are Pride. So if you want some, take some and put them on the windows of your car or your home, okay? Let's join together in our benediction. Today, Pride Day, we affirm with joy that we are proud. I don't know why it looks like that, but you all did an amazing job reading that. Do you want to try that again, why the coloring's odd? Is that better? Oh, go to the next one, and let's see if that one fixed itself. No. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Go back one. Oh, that's not the line yet, though. Oh, that's the line. Okay, just listen to me and then say that. How's that? We are proud to have survived and thrived despite challenges to our dignity, well-being, and sometimes even our lives.
We are proud to be heterosexual and cisgender allies.
We are proud to live and work in solidarity with our LGBTQ friends and family.
Together we build the beloved community.
We and those we love have been judged, mistreated, assaulted.
But we are here and we are proud.
We and those we love have been stereotyped and have faced discrimination.
But we are here and we are proud.
We have seen those we have loved beaten to death and gunned down.
But we are here and we are proud.
We are together and we are proud.
And together we build the beloved community.
Watch as it grows among us even now. Go in peace.
Yeah, yeah.